weather gripping the UK this week. The heating in our homes is being turned up. But, of course, heating goes up. The cost of our heating goes up.
Now, energy bills are predicted to fall this year. Not quite yet, though. Ahead of his Money Show on ITV1 tomorrow at 8 p.m, Martin Lewis joins us now. Very good morning to you, Martin Lewis.
Good morning to you both. Good morning.
So it sounds like a little bit of good news on the horizon, but not immediately with this Arctic blast coming.
Well, let's be very plain. Energy bills are set to rise before they fall. That they will go higher than they are right now before they fall. Look, what's happened is the wholesale rates, the rates at which gas and electricity retailers buy energy off gas and electricity suppliers. It's the suppliers who make those huge profits people are annoyed about, less than the retailers, though sometimes they're the same companies. Wholesale rates have dropped, and people look at the graphs, and there are lots of graphs that go around on social media showing that they've dropped rapidly. Well, one of the problems with that is people are using the wrong graph. They're looking at the day-ahead prices, which is pretty irrelevant in the UK. The price that counts here, the closest one, is the year ahead. And if you look at that, wholesale rates have dropped very rapidly compared to the heights of the start of the Ukraine conflict. But they're still well over 3 times the traditional run rate that it used to be 18 months, 2 years ago. So let's not overblow this. They're well more than 3 times what they used to be. And what we have to remember in the UK, let's be very plain, we have nationalised energy prices. The vast majority of people in England, Scotland and Wales are on a energy price guaranteed tariff. That is where the price is currently set by the government. Not even the regulator, it is set by the government. And what we pay right now is staggeringly, even though it's incredibly expensive, even though it's double last winter, is a subsidised rate. If I take somebody on typical usage, and there isn't really any such thing, it's just the easiest way to explain. Our bills right now are £2,500 a year on typical use. They would be £4,279 a year if we were on the price cap. So the gap between the two of those is the subsidy from the state, the amount that the government has decided the state will pay towards everybody, rich and poor's, energy bills. So what you asked me at the start, sorry for the very long preamble, is what's going to happen. Well, we're on that price cap at price guaranteed tariff at £2,500. On the 1st of April, the current plan is it will go up to £3,000. So everyone will see a 20% rise. And it will then stay at £3,000 for a year until April 2024. The only chance it will get cheaper is if the energy price cap, which is the price the regulator used to set, and that's the one currently at £4,200, were to drop below the energy price guarantee. Now, the prediction based on current wholesale rates, and the energy price cap is set on wholesale rates, so this is the one that might get lower, is in April, no. But from July, because it moves every 3 months, depending which company's predictions you look at, this £3,000 could drop to somewhere between £2,500 and £2,800. Remember, we're currently paying £2,500. So when everybody says it's going to get lower, in July it will get lower than the planned £3,000. But the likelihood on current rates is it will still be higher than what we are paying right now. And it will stay that way in October onwards. So the talk of energy prices coming down, they will go up, then they will come down, but the likelihood is they will still be higher than they are now unless the wholesale rate continues to fall, in which case it could come down a little bit further.
Martin, could you just, I know you've done this before, but explain this to us a little bit more, in a bit more detail. If you take, at the moment, filling up your car at the petrol station, when you fill your car, the oil price has fallen in recent months, and the petrol pump price has come down quite quickly after that. We're all paying lower petrol prices than we were a month or 2 ago. In the case of gas, the wholesale gas price has fallen sharply in recent months. In fact, it's pretty much close to the level it was at before the Russia invasion of Ukraine. So if when the wholesale oil price comes down, petrol prices come down quickly afterwards, why when the wholesale gas price comes down do we have to wait so long for the regulator to translate that into a lower price cap? What's the reason for that lag?
It's really interesting the way you chose to phrase that, and a lot of people think the same way. Now, look, nobody has attacked what's going on with energy bills more than me, but I need to be fair here. What the price cap, all the price cap ever really did for us is delay price rises. Originally, we were on, 3 to 6 months worth of delay. So when wholesale rates went up, well, people here thought our rates were going up commensurately. They weren't. They were going up based on what had happened 3 to 6 months ago. So if you say we're back to where we were before the start of the Ukraine crisis, which was still far, far higher wholesale rates than typically, well, yes, but we still then had to wait 3 to 6 months before those rates hit, because there is a time lag. So I'm talking about April's price cap. The April price cap is the next one. April's price cap is based on wholesale rates from November to February. So the April price cap is based on where we are on the average of November to February. Price has been falling for about a month. So in November and December, they were high. In January, they've got lower. You have to have an average over that time. And the truth is that is still likely to be higher than the subsidised energy price guarantee from April to July. But the assumption is the July price cap, which is based on prices in February, the end of February, March and April, that's when we will start to feel it. Because the price cap, and it's the price cap has to be lower than the energy price guarantee, is delayed. It's always been delayed. And originally we were feeling rises, but they were nowhere near as sharp. That was the big difference that the price cap did. So things went up slower here, and now they've gone up, they're going to be slower to come down as well.
I'm very aware.
That's the way that the pattern works, because we have regulated pricing.
I'm very aware that we're putting a strain on your voice, Martin, as we could hear. And I don't want you to be voiceless for your show tomorrow, ITV1, at 8 p.m. So are you able, just before we let you go, what are the takeaways that you're going to be giving people tomorrow evening? You've got a minute. We'll squeeze as much out of your voice as possible.
Tomorrow is all about cutting the cost of debt. Sadly, the numbers came out from the Bank of England that we have higher credit card increased borrowing in the UK than at any time since 2004. It really concerns me that people are borrowing willy-nilly to fill the gaps, but that's what they're doing. If you're using your credit card because of the cost of living, the question you have to ask yourself is, what's going to change that means I'm going to be able to pay that back on top of meeting the rest of my cost of living? So tomorrow, I'm going to go through how to cut the cost of all of your debts, overdrafts, loans, credit cards, absolutely down to the bone, so you pay the minimum interest and as much of your money as possible goes towards clearing the debt. One final thing to remember on energy. The big thing we're looking for is a relatively warm winter in Europe. If European gas storage stays above 50%, then our energy prices will likely be much cheaper next year than they were this year. If it drops below 20%, then things are going to be far worse than they were this year. It's looking pretty good at the moment, but we're not through the end of the winter. So bizarrely, what we're really watching is the winter weather in Europe is what's going to dictate energy prices in this country and what's going to dictate energy prices next winter, whether that price cut continues to drop or whether it goes back up again.
Amazing.
Lemon, honey, ginger, hot water.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Martin.
We'll see you tomorrow, ITV1.